Okay, so you want to own a laundromat. Buy some machines, bolt them to the floor, and just let people wash their own clothes while you collect quarters. No cooking, no cashiers, no chef quitting on you at 6 p.m. on a Friday. Here's the strange part, though. This is one of the only retail businesses in America where the owner can be completely, genuinely absent. No staff on site at all. And the place still runs at a 95% survival rate over 5 years. A number that makes almost every other small business category look like a coin flip by comparison. And yet, hidden inside that same empty, unattended room, there's a single number, one number, that most new owners never even check before they sign the lease. And getting it wrong quietly turns a supposedly bulletproof cash machine into a slow-motion disaster that takes years to notice. Anyway, by the end of this video, you're going to know exactly what that number is, how a business with literally nobody working the counter still manages to pull in profit margins that would make a restaurant owner weep, and why laundromats that look identical from the sidewalk can have completely different financial futures. If you're into this kind of deep dive into the businesses hiding in plain sight, that's what this channel does every week. So go ahead and hit subscribe to Miss Finance before we keep going. Let's get into it. Here's the thing that makes this business genuinely strange compared to literally everything else we've covered. Every other business we've broken down on this channel has labor as one of its top 2 or 3 expenses. Restaurants, drive-ins, shooting ranges, all of them are fighting a constant war against payroll. A laundromat, run in its purest unattended form, can operate with functionally 0 staff on site, ever. No one clocking in, no one calling out sick, no one you have to manage. The customer walks in, loads the washer, pays with a card or a coin, and does the entire job themselves. Industry data on this exact business model shows an almost unbelievable success rate, hovering around 95% over a 5-year window, which is a genuinely stunning figure in an industry where most small businesses are lucky to see half their peers survive that long. So let's talk about what it actually costs to buy into this, because the range here tells its own story. On the small end, a basic coin laundry using used equipment can technically get started for around $50,000, which is startup money most people could scrape together without much drama. But the moment you're talking about a real, mid-size operation, commercial-grade washers and dryers, a proper build-out, plumbing and gas lines rated for continuous commercial use, that number jumps to somewhere between $200,000 and $500,000. And a fully custom-built store with premium equipment can push past $1 million once you add land or a serious lease build-out. Here's a metaphor that actually captures what's happening with that spread. Buying a laundromat is a lot like buying an apartment building. The building itself, the machines in this case, is where almost all of your capital goes, and once it's built and rented out, once those washers are installed and plugged in, your day-to-day involvement can shrink down to almost nothing, collecting rent checks instead of running a storefront. It's a genuinely different psychological relationship to a business than almost anything else in retail, because you're not managing an experience, you're managing an asset that happens to sit inside 4 walls. Now here's where the story gets interesting, because that almost nothing involvement is exactly where new owners start to relax. And relaxing too early in this business is precisely how the trap gets set. Because a laundromat's revenue isn't actually driven by how many customers walk through the door in a general sense. It's driven by one specific, almost invisible metric that industry consultants call turns per day, meaning how many times, on average, each individual washer completes a full cycle over the course of a business day. 3 turns a day per machine is considered weak. 4 is roughly average. 5 or more is what separates a genuinely strong location from a mediocre one. And here's the number that should stop you cold. In a 40-washer store, losing just 1 turn per day, 1 single missed cycle per machine on average, can cut monthly revenue by somewhere around $5,400. That's not a typo. 1 missed turn a day, invisible to anyone just glancing at a full parking lot outside, is quietly worth over $60,000 a year in lost revenue. And most owners have no idea it's even happening until they finally sit down and actually run the math on their utilization data. Think about that for a second, because it completely reframes what this business actually is. A restaurant owner watching a slow Tuesday night knows exactly what's happening. Empty tables are visible, obvious, immediate. A laundromat owner can walk past their own store, see a handful of cars in the lot, see a few machines humming along. and have absolutely no idea that half their washers are sitting idle for 6 extra minutes between each cycle, because the store layout makes folding awkward, or because half the dryers run 5 minutes too hot and customers are quietly avoiding them, or because the card reader on machine 14 has been glitching for 3 weeks and nobody's fixed it. None of that shows up as an obvious crisis. It shows up as a slow, compounding erosion of turns per day. And by the time an owner notices revenue is soft, they're usually looking at months of accumulated losses they can't even fully diagnose without pulling detailed usage data machine by machine. So if turns per day is the hidden engine driving this entire business, what's actually eating into the revenue those turns generate? Because here's the part that surprises almost everyone walking into this industry, expecting an easy, passive cash machine. Total operating costs on a laundromat commonly run somewhere between 65 and 80% of gross revenue, depending on the store's model and age of equipment, which means even in this supposedly low overhead, no staff business, you're only actually keeping somewhere around 20 to 35 cents of every dollar that comes through the door. And the single biggest reason that number isn't higher, the reason this business isn't the effortless money printer, the passive income YouTube thumbnails promise, comes down to one word that almost every serious operator in this industry names as their single biggest headache. Utilities, water, sewer, gas, and electric together commonly consume somewhere between 20 and 30% of a laundromat's gross revenue, and that percentage climbs even higher the older and less efficient your machines are. In a survey of laundromat owners conducted by the industry's own trade association, nearly half named high utility costs as the single biggest problem they face in running the business, ahead of competition, ahead of rent, ahead of everything else on the list. And this is where the metaphor of an apartment building actually breaks down, because unlike a landlord who can pass utility costs directly onto a tenant's separate meter, a laundromat owner is eating that entire utility bill personally, on every single wash cycle, regardless of what price they're charging the customer standing at the machine. Every degree hotter you heat that water, every extra minute a dryer runs, that's coming directly out of your margin. On every single transaction, all day, every day, for as long as you own the place. And utilities aren't even the only fixed trap waiting for a new owner, because rent operates on almost identical logic, just with a slightly more forgiving cushion. Industry consultants generally recommend keeping rent below 25% of gross revenue, using an example where $8,000 in monthly rent against $36,000 in revenue lands at a healthy 22%. Cross above 30%, and the math starts compressing profitability in a way that's genuinely difficult to claw back. Because unlike a restaurant that can chase a slightly higher table turnover to offset expensive rent, a laundromat's revenue ceiling is physically capped by how many machines fit in the space and how many turns you can squeeze out of them in a day. You can't add a second seating for dinner rush. Once every washer in the building is running, you are, quite literally, at full capacity, and there's no lever left to pull except raising prices, which brings its own risk if a competitor 2 blocks away is charging less. And that competitor 2 blocks away is exactly the next problem, because here's something that should genuinely worry anyone eyeing this business as an easy passive investment. The barrier to entry that made this industry so appealing to you is the exact same barrier that's low for everyone else. Unlike a shooting range or a scrapyard, there's no complicated environmental permitting, no dangerous animal containment system, no 7-figure ballistic infrastructure standing between an ambitious competitor and opening up 3 blocks from your store. A laundromat is, relatively speaking, a straightforward build, plumbing, electrical machines done, which means the same low-drama, low-complexity entry that makes this business so approachable. Also means a well-capitalized competitor can move in on your exact customer base with a newer, cleaner, more efficient store far more easily than, say, someone trying to compete with an established amusement park or a century-old university. Location isn't just important in this business. It's close to the entire ballgame, and it's a ballgame you don't fully control once you've signed your lease, because the demographic conditions that made your spot attractive, a neighborhood full of renters without in-unit laundry, can shift over a decade in ways completely outside your influence, as buildings get renovated with washer hookups, or as a neighborhood gentrifies and half your customer base gets priced out and moves. So here's where the real skill of this business actually reveals itself, and it's almost never about the machines themselves. It's about the layer most first-time owners never think to add, which is turning a purely coin-operated, unattended room into something that generates revenue beyond the wash cycle itself. This is where wash and fold service enters the picture, and the transformation it creates in the underlying economics is genuinely dramatic. Self-service wash cycles typically run somewhere around $1.50 to $4 a load. Full-service wash-dry fold, where a customer drops off a bag of dirty laundry and picks up a folded, finished product, commonly charges somewhere around $1.50 to $2 per pound, and a typical load easily runs 10 to 15 pounds, meaning that single bag of laundry that would have generated maybe $3 or $4 in self-service revenue can generate $15 to $30 as a full-service transaction on the exact same machines, using the exact same water and gas that were already part of your fixed utility cost either way. Think about that the way you'd think about a coffee shop that also sells the beans, the grinder, and a subscription delivery service on top of the cup of coffee it already sells. The core product, hot water passing through ground beans, barely changes, but layering additional services on top of that same core infrastructure can dramatically expand what a single transaction is worth, without requiring you to buy a single additional square foot of retail space. Owners who add wash and fold report revenue lifts running anywhere from 20 to 50% on top of baseline self-service income, and some operators report that vending machines, detergent sales, and simple arcade games alone can quietly add another $500 to $2,000 a month in nearly pure margin revenue. Small money individually, but money that requires zero additional machines and almost no additional utility cost, because it's not running through a water line at all. But here's the trade-off nobody puts in the glossy, passive income pitch. And it's the trade-off that quietly ends the entire premise this business was originally sold to you on. The moment you add wash and fold, you're no longer running an unattended, staffless operation. You need actual employees now, people to sort, wash, dry, and fold customer laundry correctly, people who show up on time, people you now have to manage, train, and pay. And payroll, once you introduce it, stops being a rounding error and becomes one of the largest line items in the entire business, commonly running 15 to 25% of revenue for stores offering these additional services, sometimes considerably higher if labor efficiency isn't tightly managed. One detailed operational breakdown of a mid-size laundromat pursuing this exact hybrid strategy showed monthly payroll running close to $16,000 against $8,000 in rent, meaning fixed labor and occupancy costs alone crossed $23,000 a month before the store had covered a single dollar toward utilities, insurance, or actual profit. That's the real tension sitting at the heart of this entire industry. The purely unattended model protects your margin by eliminating labor, but caps your revenue ceiling at whatever your machines alone can generate. The hybrid model with wash and fold can dramatically expand that ceiling, but it drags you right back into the exact labor management headache that made every other business on this channel so difficult in the first place. So which model actually wins? This is where the real profitability numbers finally come together, and where the payoff of everything we've walked through actually lands. A well-run, purely self-service unattended laundromat commonly nets somewhere around 20 to 35% profit margin, with smaller unattended shops generating something like $30,000 a year on the low end, and larger, high-traffic unattended locations pushing past $100,000, sometimes considerably more, once turns per day and utility efficiency are both dialed in properly. On a national level, the average American laundromat generates somewhere around $500,000 in annual revenue, which, at a middle-of-the-road 25% net margin, translates to roughly $125,000 in annual owner profit on a business that genuinely can run with minimal daily involvement once it's properly set up and maintained. The hybrid stores that add wash and fold service, despite the added labor headache, consistently outperform pure self-service stores in competitive markets, commonly hitting net margins in the 25 to 35% range once fully optimized, and top-performing operators, The ones who have genuinely mastered turns per day, utility efficiency, and labor scheduling simultaneously report margins pushing to 50% or higher, a figure that would be almost unheard of in a restaurant, a food truck, or nearly any other business we've covered on this channel. Payback periods on a well-run store, whether pure self-service or hybrid, commonly land somewhere in the 3 to 5 year range, which is genuinely fast for a business this capital-intensive. And it's exactly why laundromats keep quietly attracting real estate-minded investors who understand that they're not really buying a service business. They're buying an income-generating asset that happens to have washers bolted to the floor. Now flip it around one final time, because this is the version of the story that never makes it into the glossy pitch. Take a store with the exact same 40 machines, the exact same square footage, sitting on a lease with rent creeping above 30% of revenue, running aging equipment that pushes utility costs toward that 30% ceiling instead of holding at 20, and losing that one silent turn per day per washer we talked about earlier, because nobody ever checked the usage data closely enough to notice the card reader glitch, or the awkward folding table layout costing them 6 minutes a cycle. That store, sitting in the exact same neighborhood, with the exact same machines that cost the exact same amount to install, might be limping along on a net margin closer to 10 or 12%, technically profitable, technically one of that 95% that survives, but generating a fraction of what the well-optimized version of the identical business 2 blocks away is quietly pulling in every single month. Same machines, same neighborhood, same starting investment, and the entire gap between them comes down to whether the owner understood from day one that a laundromat was never actually a passive business watching quarters fall into a bin. It was a precision utilization machine disguised as one. And the owners who treat it that way are the ones actually collecting the passive income everyone else is still chasing. That's really the whole story of this industry in one sentence. A laundromat doesn't make money because people need clean clothes, although they genuinely always will. It makes money because a specific owner, somewhere, decided to actually track turns per day, actually negotiate utility efficiency into their equipment choices, and actually treat an empty room full of washing machines with the same operational discipline as any other real business, instead of believing the thumbnail that told them they could just walk away and let the quarters do the work. If this one changed how you think about that quiet laundromat on the corner, hit like on the video. And if you haven't subscribed to Miss Finance yet, go ahead and take care of that, because this is exactly the kind of hidden business math we dig into every week. And I want to know from you, now that you've seen how much of this business actually comes down to turns per day instead of just foot traffic. Would you ever consider a laundromat as your first investment? Or does the utility bill risk change your mind? Let me know in the comments. I read every single one, and I'll see you in the next video.